Welcome to Life Talk 21, the show that is designed to motivate you, to inspire you, and to give you strategies to help you live in the 21st century. And I'm not just talking about living, but I want you to be successful. And I'm your host, Eric Wortham. And today, I just want to talk for a little bit. I know, I haven't done a show for a long time, but I'm working on making it even better. I've done 5 lives now, and they've been awesome, and it's growing. So I just want to make sure that I refocus it so I could make sure that I do it right, because I'm adding things to it, and we're coming back soon. But today I just want to talk a little bit about getting back on. It's better known as changing, growth, development, or maturity. Either one of those words will do, but it's about getting back on, because sometimes we get off the track. We go awry, we go in a different route, a route that we know is not going to help us to be our best self. And so sometimes we got to get back on, and that's just called growth, changing, because you don't want to be somebody that's the same way forever, you know, because it's going to prevent you. This, look at it this way. It's strange that uh, maturity sometimes will allow you to be able to experience your best self. The more mature you are is in line with, getting to that area where you constantly going toward being your best self. So it's going to take that, and it's just simply getting back on. And getting back on is a phrase that I use as a word to just to talk about getting back on that road to growth, man, because we get off of it, we start doing things, we let things prevent us from going there. And that's what I do. I want to tackle those things like uh, drug, alcohol abuse is the part that I want to focus on. I want to focus on those things. Mindset, our mental health, those things prevent us from being our best self. And so I focus on those things. But, sometimes we get off that road and we want to get back on. Uh, most people, this is the thing, most people are familiar with and they understand the need for them to change. They do, because we often see it displayed, in their social media things. They make some good comments, positive comments about it, and it's clearly stated by them, often. But sometimes, however, the, you know, the change may not actually change at a respectable rate. And to some people, it seems like it's not changing because you're still doing the same thing. The one thing we know about change and maturity is as you grow, as you get more mature and wiser, then you can make mistakes, but you don't keep making the same mistakes. You don't keep. At some point, you start getting to where you realize those mistakes are hurting you and preventing you from being your best you. And so, but this is the thing. Most people understand the need for change, but actually, doing the things that it takes, that's the thing, kind of like that I want to talk about. And I want to help you get there. I want to help you to understand how to change. You may know someone who is really good at acknowledging the need for change, but they seem to be exactly the same. That is because change requires one to seriously, or at least moderately, self assess. You have to be able to look at self in the mirror and say, man, there may be some things that person that I can change. You have to be with, especially when, the things that you've been doing prevent you from being your best self. And it will. If it's not balanced, it will, I'm telling you. Many people don't understand themselves well enough. See, this is my whole thing. Many people don't understand themselves well enough to be able to tolerate other people that don't share their values, that don't go to the same church they go to, that don't even have the same religion that they have, that don't think the same way that they think. And you can't do that if you don't even understand some basic things about you and your preferences, the things that make you do what you do. Why are you doing them? And some people don't even know that, you know. So, the way that you're going to get there, in order for you to consistently get there, because let's be honest, you have to understand that self assessing is very important. It is. It's very important. And one way you're going to get there, how am I going to get there? How am I going to continue to grow? And this is part one today because it's a lot. But this is a key thing. You have to be, one of the strategies that I like to share with people is working the how. HOW, working the how. The how stands for, the H, being honest with yourself, just like what I just said. You have to be honest, and that's hard. That's difficult for some people, and we're going to talk about it. You got to be open, to research and data. Things. See, this is what I believe. We have accepted a lot of traditional things because they've been passed down to us without understanding or researching the possibility of it showing some kind of merit. Did it work? Did it work? We just accept it because it passed down. And again, we don't understand why we do it. Right? So, this is the thing. So, the H stands for you got to be honest with yourself. And the O stands for you got to be open. That's what I was talking about. You got to be open to uh, other things. You really do. You have to be open, you know, uh, to stuff like research and data, because there is data. There are some people that's all they do is research and data. It's to give you the information that you need. Now we got to get it from credible people, but it's enough credible people out there for us to get it. But you have to be able to see that work, because I'm telling you, we're doing things just because it passed down and not because it has a history of working. Okay, and that's going to be on the next one. Not today. I'm going to talk more about that. So you got to be open and to those strategies and ideas. And most of those strategies and ideas, to me, come from a religious perspective. I don't care what religion. Most religions that I understand have some component of loving each other. So if you do those things, and this will have it in it, it will have some components of loving each other. And so these ideas, most of the time, come from that. So when you talk about a person that kind of uh, well, the W. Let's get to the W. The W stands you got to be willing to try it. Okay, you're open to the new strategies, and now the W means you got to be willing to try it. And again, most religions teach some component of some of the things that I'm talking about. That screen blow up stuff, blow up yourself stuff. That's ignorant and cultured. I'm not talking about that. You know, I'm talking about most religions have some Islamic, Christianity, Judaism. They have some components of loving your fellow brother. I'm telling you. Okay, so you got to be honest with yourself, and it's difficult. Like being confrontational. A lot of confrontational people will say they're not because they don't understand and know that they're being confrontational. You know, And a lot of times you don't want to be identified with that because it's looked at as negative. But the reality is that neither trait or personality is bad. They're not bad. We just have to learn how to be more balanced in them so that they won't prevent us from being our best self. No traits are bad. Confrontational people are needed. I promise you, on most boards, you're gonna have somebody that's made up of confrontational people, all kind of different personalities, because that's how you're gonna be successful. Because you need that person to fight for you. It's just that you don't have to fight all the time. That's just it's a balance. And that's a new book that I'm writing. Don't let your highs be too high and lows be too low. Balance. That's being in that balanced place, man. That's another podcast book. Man, that's rich. Being balanced. Wow, that's the key. It really is, man. And I'm proving that. And we're gonna talk more about that on another show though. But being confrontational. And neither trait is bad. We just got to be able to balance it. Now, this is what I hear from most of my confrontational people. I know this because they scored high in the high confrontational area. So I know it. But this is what I hear from them most of the time. I don't start nothing, but if somebody bring it, I'm not gonna run from it. But that in itself means that you're confrontational, because non-confrontational people do what? They're going to do everything in their power to avoid the confrontation altogether. So if you want the smoke, then you're probably confrontational. So, but because they don't understand, you have to be honest with yourself, honest enough to say, okay, maybe I am a little bit confrontational, especially if you take one of those personality tests and it shows you that you are, and everything else is true, and then you have people telling you, yeah, you might want to take heed to that, because it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just that we got to balance it. Being the other way, non-confrontational. If you high on the non end, that's not good. You know what I'm saying? You got to balance it. You know what I'm saying? It's not. Let me not say good, because I just said it's not bad. It's you don't want to be extreme. That's what we have in our country now. We have left, extreme right. This is my right hand. Extreme right, extreme left people. And guess what that means? We can't agree on anything because we're too far apart. But if you try to come closer to the middle, not all the way, we'll always be on one side, favor one side or the other. But the closer we get to the middle, the better we can understand other people. And that's what it's about. It's about not agreeing with and not accepting, but it's valuing and understanding. That's it. I can see why you feel that way. I don't, but I can see why you feel that way. And so that way, that's communication, that's compromise, all of those things are necessary in life. But so, because we're confrontational, sometimes we won't look at that. And then, when we get that, then we learn strategies. We're open to strategies that'll help us to be more balanced. And that's what I'm going to teach in the book. How do you get to be more balanced? We look for strategies. That's being open enough, because some of us are closed. We don't want to hear nothing anybody says, and that's that traditional stuff. It's dangerous sometimes. It is. I don't throw away everything, but some of it is dangerous, man, because it does not have the evidence or the data to say that it worked. And I've used both. I've looked at data for both sides, and I'm telling you, a lot of it does not work. And to be honest with you, a lot of it, just came from stuff being passed down. It's really no basis behind a lot of the things that we get. And then you'll find too, it's just traditional. Okay? It's traditional. And not all traditional things are bad. I can say that because I accept a lot of traditional things. But some things we have to be able to self-assess and look and say, man, is you know, can I be open to growing and developing and doing other things? And then you have to be willing to try. Got to be willing to try, and that's the big thing. That's the big thing is being willing to try. Now, all of it is huge. All of it is, but you have to be able to and willing to try things that may work. Okay, you got to be willing. Okay. Now we're gonna have a part two to this, but if you want to change, one of the first things you have to do is I want to recommend to you that you work the how. Be honest with yourself. Be open to strategies. That means you have to look for strategies too. You got to read and try. Wanting to get better takes work. You have to work on it. Okay? You have to be open to strategies. Then a W, you have to be willing to try. Okay? I'm Eric Wortham. Remember, be all you can be by doing all you can do. Thank you.